Now, one of the things that I want to point out is, why do these ideas matter when we talk about social constructs? Why do those things matter? I want to go back to the Thomas Theorem. You remember the Thomas Theorem from a previous lecture series a couple weeks back? Thomas Theorem is the idea that if we define situations as being real, they are real in their consequences. And I want to use some historical evidence, and also historical evidence that has to do with the Thomas Theorem, to point out why these ideas about social constructs are so powerful and so impactful on the individual experience. So, for example, one of the things that we tend to see all across the record, across jobs, regardless of education type and everything, we see that females are paid far less than males, generally around 78 to 79 cents on the dollar, last I checked. Likewise, we see certain race groups experience much higher arrest rates. And these are things where these social constructs matter. But let's go back to the Thomas Theorem itself. I was taught all through college that W.I. Thomas, William I. Thomas, I don't know what the I stands for, but William Thomas was a person who wrote the Thomas Theorem. And guess what? That's not true. In fact, it was written by Thomas in part, but it was also written in part with his wife, Dorothy Swaine Thomas. In fact, as I learned more about Dorothy Swaine Thomas, not only was she an important sociologist, she was the first female president of the American Sociological Association. Yet her name is entirely left off the discussion about the Thomas Theorem. When we ask if these social constructs are powerful, we can see that they are. And if we treat these things as real, then the consequences of them are also real. This is a powerful thing, and I wanted to use this moment to just kind of close and reflect on these last two lectures that we've talked about. Again, if you have any questions about sex, gender, race, or ethnicity, you feel free to contact me. I'm not an expert in those fields, and so if I can't answer your question, I'll find someone that can. But that ends this mini lecture. I just wanted to point out that correction and talk about the Thomas Theorem. In our next one, we're going to start talking a little bit about the differences between income and wealth, and what your mobility is most likely going to look like as you leave college. So I'll see you there. If you need anything, you let me know. Take care.